guys, welcome back to my channel, and hello, this is the video where we talk about all the books that I read in the past month, and hopefully you can take some suggestions from here as well, because it's been an awesome reading month. So basically the first half of the month I was kind of in a reading slump, and then I ended up reading quite a few books, which is very nice because most of these books are like 4 or 5 in general. So let's start with the least rated book in this particular list, and the least rated book of April 2021 is, let me pick it up, it's this one. This is 6 Acres and a Third by Fakir Mohan Senapati, which is something I read for Lit with Indian Lit, and it's translated from Oriya to English by a bunch of people. Basically this book, I rated it 3.7 stars because it has a lot of satire. It's a social commentary on the situation, during the British rule in the 1830s, and how the zamindari system actually exploits people a lot. It also talks a lot about poverty, the 6 acres and a third, that aspect of it, and also the society in general during that point of time. It's a nice book. If you like satire, it's a must read, but I personally do not like satire that much. That's why I just rated 3.7 stars. But honestly, one of the most commendable parts about the book is that it was actually published in 1896, and I'm 100% sure at that time it was like, a breakthrough in literature or in Odia literature in general. So that's that. Now let's move on to the books that I rated 4 to 5 stars, because there are a bunch of books that we need to talk about. The first book that I rated kind of somewhere between 4 to 5 stars, I have not like fixed on a rating yet because I'm still unsure of it, and that's Luster by Raven Leilani. The reviews up above, go check it out. Basically Luster is about this young girl who's just entering the professional world. She's a young black woman, and she basically meets this man who's in an open marriage, and that's how the story unfolds. It's kind of a Marmite book. You will understand more when you see my review. I liked it. Turns out I'm on the other side of the Marmite. Make sense? I don't know. Anyway, I liked it a lot. It's something that I actually recommend as well. Also, again, I keep on repeating this. This is going to be long listed for the Booker 2021. So read it. If you don't like it, it's okay. But then it's something that everyone won't like. But it's a great piece of literary fiction for sure. So that's that. The next book that I rated 4.5 stars. So the next bunch of books are 4.5 star ones, and I need to pick out this one too. And it is this one. It's Hangwoman by K.R. Meera, translated from Malayalam to English by Devika. I think, yeah, that's her name. Yes, J. Devika. Basically, this book is about the Gridha Mullik family, whose ancestors have been hangmen for the kings and the administration in general, and now it's a woman who has to carry forward this legacy. It's a very, very interesting book which talks about the history, the political scenario, because this is based in modern day Calcutta. It talks about like the modern day politics, the obsession of people with death in general, or how people are scared in general of death. And also it's interesting to see the story, which is of course fictional, of the ancestors and the story and things like that. So I highly recommend this if you're an Indian. I really like the end of the book as well. Why did I give it 4.5 stars? I don't know. Don't ask me why did I give it 4.5 stars. I just felt like it was worth 4.5 stars, or maybe I felt like there should have been something like much more like dashing in the book. But otherwise it's a great book to read. I highly recommend it if you've not read it yet. Hangwoman. Yeah, that's that. The next book that I rated 4.5 stars again is Dopehri by Pankaj Kapoor. Of which I have to like post a review. But basically this book is about Amma B, who lives in this old Haveli called the Lal Haveli in Lucknow, and she's lonely. Okay, like on the inside she's this vulnerable lonely lady, but on the outside she's a strong able-minded woman. Basically at Dopehri, that is like somewhere around 3 p.m, there is an intruder whom she's not seen, who kind of enters her property, and it kind of scares her a lot. Okay, and that's how the story starts. It starts off as a mystery, but it's actually a pretty cute story. It's a pretty short read as well. Go ahead, read it. I really appreciated this a lot. And of course, if you know how to read this in Hindi, because it's been translated from Hindi to English by Rahul Soni, go ahead, read it. That's that. Okay, the next book that I rated 4.5 stars is No Presents Please by Jayant Kaikini, translated from Kannada to English by Tejaswani Niranjana. And I love this short story collection. This is one of my favorite short story collections I've read this year. One of my resolutions has been to read short story collections, like one short story collection every month. And the simplicity, right? The simplicity, the whole narration that Jayant Kaikini writes in is very, very, very beautiful, and it's very attractive as well. A myriad of human emotions per se, and the translation as well has been awesome. So this is something that I was like reading in the translator's note, at the end of the book, and it turns out that Tejaswani Niranjana does not generally like to translate works, but then she really loved Jayant Kaikini's works a lot that she decided that she had to translate it. So it's beautiful, it's lovely, and again, if you're looking for a great short story collection, this is something that you want to read. A bonus would be if you're from Mumbai, then this would be like on a whole new level for you, okay? So highly recommended. Again, if you know Kannada, read it in Kannada. Otherwise, yeah, that's that. Okay, and let's get on to the books that I rated 4.8 and 5 stars respectively. So the book that I rated 4.8 stars is How the One-Armed Sister Sweeps Her House by Cherry Jones, which has now been shortlisted for the Women's Prize 2021. What a book. Okay, I rated this 4.8 stars. It could have been 5, but then I intuitively felt that I should stop at 4.8. It's a must read. Okay, the book, basically there's a review coming up, but let me just tell you what is it about. It's about the people at Baxter Beach in Barbados, and how, although it's like this huge rich tourist destination, there's a lot of poverty and a lot of violence here. Of course, there are trigger warnings in the book, so if you are someone who is triggered by gun violence or domestic abuse, no, don't read it. But otherwise, it's a great piece of, I would like to say, literary fiction, because for me it looked like literary fiction, and it is a story of these characters who are kind of, how do I say, the story of the characters who are kind of battling with poverty and also death in general. Okay, so I'll cover more of it in my review because I'm not like well defined on what to say about the book, but yeah, do keep an eye out for the review because I love this book a lot. And if you've not picked it up yet, or you're thinking of picking it up, like somewhere in the middle, pick it up. It's a great book. I loved it. Okay, feminist, talks about like the violence faced by women in general in crime afflicted countries. So that's that. Now let's get to my 5-star read this month, and my 5-star read this month is The Liberation of Sita by excuse me, The Liberation of Sita by Volga, which is an amazing, great book. I love it so much. So this is the best rendition of Sita I have read. Earlier, my favorite rendition was Forest of Enchantments by Chitra Banerjee Divakaruni, that I still like a lot. But having read this book, the whole thing of what Forest of Enchantments does kind of like gets underwhelmed for me, and I'm very overwhelmed by this book. The book talks about the Ramayana through 4 main characters of Ramayana, the female characters, that's Sita, Urmila, Shurpanaka and Ahalya, and it talks about their view, like how they describe Ramayana as this patriarchal thing, how Ramayana tends to be very much for Ram and not Sita per se. Like women in the story tend to be pawns, because ultimately if Sita was not kidnapped, then Ram and Ravan would not have gone to war and things like that. So all of these critical aspects are discussed, and I think it's an important discussion because we have been reading, or we have been listening to all of these stories from our ancestors, from our grandparents and things like that. It's been passed through word of mouth, but getting a new perspective on it kind of makes you think a lot, and it's very interesting as well. So if you're an Indian and you're looking for like the best rendition of Sitana, this is the book you should read. It's a great book, lovely book. Okay, So other than this, I also read 2 books for the BookTube prize, but I'm not going to be discussing those 2 books in this video. I am going to be discussing it like later on, hopefully in June, once I'm allowed to talk about it. So that's that. This is it. These are all the books that I read in April 2021, and I hope to have a great May as well. So see you on the other side. Bye.